All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right, we are back at it. It's probably been about a month or so since I've done a regular YouTube video. Took the month of June, played a little bit of golf, went to New York for a little bit, all the way through the 4th of July. Kind of take some time off, did some shorts, some other stuff, but now, you know, for me as a football coach, 4th of July ends. That kind of means it's back to the grind. So we are back at it, back in us working with our team, which means I'm back in at school where I can do a bunch of videos. And today I'm going to do a video talking about maximizing your talent, taking you through some of the things we're going to be doing that's a little bit different than what you've seen me talk about or do in the past because of the group that we have and what I'm trying to get out of that group. Make sure you check out some of our partners, GameStrat, sideline replay company we use if you're looking for highly reliable, highly affordable. See why everybody's making a change to GameStrat now. Use them for the last 5 or 6 years. Absolutely love everything about it. Dome Hats, a headwear company. Play Fast Football and the school that I'm currently at, every school that I've ever coached at, we've used Dome hats. If you're looking for custom hats, you want to check out Dome. They have a great deal coming up that we're going to be sharing with everybody as we get into the football season. So it's a great deal for your football program. So make sure you check out Dome because stock hats suck. Baker Sporting Goods company we use. Coaches gear like this, our Friday night sideline gear is provided by Baker's. Our uniforms are distributed by Baker's. Our players gear, spirit packs, things like that, our fan stuff, team stores, everything runs through Baker Sports, so make sure you check them out. Fly route drones, we use drones for everything we do in practice. Every 7-on-7 we go to. To me, the drone angle is the best angle to teach from. I absolutely love it. The eye in the sky doesn't lie. Why not get yourself that perfect angle with a drone? Fly route drones, if you go to their website, www.flyroute.com, and you type in a promo code PlayFast, you can get 20% off your online training, so make sure you check out FlyRoute. BrandtekUSA, company that made custom sneakers, Play Fast sneakers for me. They made a pullover, they made a 3/4 zip for me. They make custom gear, custom sublimation, but they also are, they have products in the fundraising world. They have disinfectant products for uniforms, weight rooms, things that can help you avoid that nasty staph infection, MRSA, some of the other things that travel around sometimes in locker rooms and weight rooms. They have distribute the Q collar. They can do custom mouth guards. They just do a bunch of really cool things that are neat for businesses or organizations. So make sure you check out BrandTek, DifferenceUSA, ultimate striking machine. Get thousands of reps without needing a partner. They hook up right to the racks in your weight room currently. So if you want to strike violently, you need to practice striking violently. So check out DifferenceUSA. And then our most recent partner that we hooked up with, Modern Football software that allows you to track the analytics of in-game play calling. All right, so this is a huge, huge deal as a coordinator. You go into a game plan and you know the things that you've worked on and you know the things you're trying to defend. And then as the game goes on, you lose track of what you've been calling. You're trying to chart it. Maybe you're charting it by hand, or maybe you're trying to go back into you know, some of your the video stuff that you have, and you're trying to put pieces together. This tracks it for you, call for call, result for result. You can break it down infinite amount of ways so that you now know as a coach. For me as a coordinator, if we have a game plan going in and I stray from that game plan and we're not calling the things that I worked on and that game plan doesn't match the call sheet, okay, or if we were preparing for something from the other team and they're giving us something different, a lot of times for me in the past as a coordinator, it took me too much time to catch up to that. And sometimes I would catch up to it too late. With Modern Football, you can track all that drive-by-drive, play-by-play, and it will spit out all the information for you to help make you a better play caller in-game, to make the adjustments you need, see if you're following your game plan right. So if we went in and said, hey, we want to be 70% run, 30% pass on offense, and we find out that we're not matching that, play-by-play, spit it out, spit the information out. We can see what runs work, what formations work. So much easier for you when you can get it instantly, play-by-play, and not have to worry about doing it by hand. So please check out Modern Football. There are a bunch of college programs are already using their stuff. Great product. I highly recommend checking them out. I sat in on a client call with them about 3 weeks ago, and I am going to try and get it at my school, which I am not the head coach at, but I'm going to try my best to get it at our school because I think it'll help me a million times over as a play call. All right, so today we're going to be talking about maximizing your talent, right? So for us, we've been a tight 3-high team. I think you all know that the last 2 years, a lot of videos on defense, talking about our 3-high stuff. Doesn't fit our personnel right now. We've got to find a way to maximize our talent, right? So we're going to stay in the tight front world. We're going to stay with all of our split field coverage stuff, all right? But where our changes are going to come is the base way that we handle some of our 3-by-1 stuff, right? So the biggest thing we want to do is we want to keep the picture as consistent as possible for our guys in the box. Now, I know that it's impossible to stay and play every formation the same way. You're going to have to plus-minus backers. Coverage things are going to dictate what you do. But for us as a base principle, my theory going in is I want to give our guys a chance to be really successful at the things that I think they can do well. Right? So, you know, if we had a two-back, 2-by-1 world, standard rules for us, if the jack has a single, the jack's going to be part of the rush. It's basically going to become min-front stuff for us, right? It's going to be similar boundary reduction. As of right now, we're probably not going to move the nose in the end, so it's going to be more mint than it is boundary. Keeps us to where we can play all of our split field rules, so 2 open, 2 tight. We can play palms, we can play quarters, we can play cover 2 to that side, we can play a man version of that side. With the jack gone on the back side, we can keep our single side rotations the same, so it allows us to keep all of our similar coverages. Where it's going to be different for us and where I think we need to maximize our talent is when we start to deal with 3-by-1. And what we figured for us, the best way for us to play 3-by-1 if we want to keep similar pictures is we're going to have to travel our safeties. So our high safeties for us are going to have to be responsible for all 3-by-1 sets. So for us to play our base coverage, which is mix, all right, we're going to leave the nickel in a spot where he can play palms. So now his job gets easier, and I'm going to try and maximize his talent to do the things that I think he can do. If I travel both safeties to the trip side, okay, now we can play our stubby deal, mix, whatever you want to call it, all right? The simple adjustment I made for our plays is I said, hey, we're going to call this max. It's mix using all of our safeties. So it's mixed coverage, but we're using all of our safeties to the same side. Now, what that does for us is it allows our high safeties to handle all 3 receiver sets, right? So if it's 3 removed, we can start and we can play mix. All right. If it's 3 tight, what we would do is we would play poach. Right. So if it was 3 tight and it was a formation that looked like that, the nickel can still play palms. These guys can play palms the way that they always do. Right. So that picture stays the same for them. Allows the nickel to do what he always does. Allows the Mike to play the coverages that he's used to playing. We take the stress of 3 vertical off of the linebackers and the nickel, and we tell the safeties that they have to handle vertical. So in a way, our corners and our safeties, our high safeties, are the guys that are handling vertical threats, right? Which is the way you would like to play football. So now we're going to have to poach this on the backside. So our left safety is going to have to be in a position to poach, all right, number 3 vertical. Now, where this is different for us, we are trying to eliminate multiple pictures for our guys right now. This piece is new for us on defense. This piece is new for us on defense. That piece is new for us on defense. That piece is new for us on defense. That piece is new for us. And these 2 corners are relatively new. The only 4 players that return in positions that they played previously in our defense are the 3 down and the will. So with all of those new moving pieces, we figured out we got to find what they do well, okay? And we have to find a defense and a structure we can play that can help them do those things well, okay? So if we stay in a world where the safeties are responsible in base defense for the 3 receiver sets. So 3 removed, this is our base way of playing it. 3 tight, this is our base way of playing it. Okay? Now, that's going to keep the picture in the box relatively static so that our linebackers and D linemen and our jack can play things as consistently as possible, right? We're not changing rules for them. Are we going to have to bump the backers and do some things eventually? Yes, we are going to have to, right? You can't line up one way to everything. But day 1, camp rules, base way we're teaching it, to maximize the talent of our players. To get this nickel to do a job that I think he can do really well, all right, I'm going to let him do that job as many times as physically possible without changing that job in our base structure. I'm going to let the Will and the Mike fit runs as similar as possible in the mid-front, tight front theory, all right, as I possibly can. I'm going to get the jack off the edge to play as simple as I possibly can. So the jack for me is going to be a dent player. We're not going to spill. We're going to tell the jack, you're coming off the edge. If nothing comes back, you're going to be a surf player. You got to handle the quarterback. If anything comes back to you, you're going to dent it right down the middle, be physical, try and make plays. Great basketball player, unbelievable defensive player, great on the boards, great at putbacks, great at boxing out. All right, because when he's playing basketball and a shot goes up, box out, whatever the nearest competitor, the nearest player, whatever it is, he doesn't have to see a shot go up and go, hey, if the shot is over there, box him out. But if the shot is over there, box him out. see ball, get ball, right? That's the type of player it is, really good player. So I'm not going to ask him, hey, spill this and box that. I'm just going to tell him to dent, right? When I've had physical athletic players that I really like and I want them to make plays, I just use the theory dent. Some people don't like it. It's not, you know, you got to spill or you got to box. You can't do one. When I say dent, I mean be physical with a blocker that's coming back to you, and if you can make a play, make a play. And I'll try and fit it around that, right? If I tell him to spill, all right, he might hesitate a little bit. He sees down blocks, oh, here it comes back, I spill. If I tell him to spill, I'm probably taking his athletic ability away from him, all right, because I'm asking him really just be 1-for-1 and eat yourself up on a block and make the ball go wider. All right, so yeah, we know where the ball's going to go. Yes, we can spill it and run to it. Yes, it's going east and west, not north and south. But I think he's a good enough player that if I tell him that with any inside blocks that go away from you, if there's any bodies coming back, be physical straight through their face mask. All right, and let him do the things that he knows how to do. Now, if he gets away with nothing coming back, well, now he's got to surf, because if 3-by-1 especially, if we're borrowing backside safeties and the quarterback gets out to the backside, we have an issue. So now that we're borrowing backside safeties, okay, we now live in a world where we're going to have to be able to play some man deals with the corner and some man deals with the will, right? Base theory, which is very different than the way we played in the past, because in the past we've always helped the weak side players with some type of rotation between a corner and a safety and a will, where we were 3-for-2 on the backside. All right, and that's because we handled the front side trips with the nickel and the safety, and we did things that we felt with that personnel that we could do that we liked. All right, well, with the personnel we have coming back with our older and our younger group, it's a lot easier for us to take the nickel and say, look, this is the job that you do in base defense, and you are going to master these techniques, and you are going to play this position to the best of your ability. So if we got to borrow safeties, it changes some things on the backside, right? So in a base world, that's the way that we want to live. Okay, so if we live that way, we are then, as always, we are going to have answers to the single, right? And we know that we need answers. So I'm not saying we're going to go in and maximize our talent by doing one thing. What I'm saying is we're going to go in and our calls and our checks are going to build to the strengths of our players and do the things that I think they can do effectively, and then we're going to have to find ways to build in answers. Okay, well, for us, the simple way to build in answers is if we think we're getting 3-by-1 and we're borrowing and we're getting hurt to this side, I can always use the jack as a dropper if I need to and go back to a drop 8 theory, right? That's the great part about 3-4 personnel or 3-3 personnel. If you have a player that is an edge rusher or an outside backer that can play the flats at least, maybe match a back out, if he can do those things, you always have an answer on the backside. Okay? Now, if we wanted the jack involved, okay, and we still wanted the jack involved, and let's say we were getting 3 removed, we can still play our stump deals, right? So we can still play our stump theories where the nickel can still be down, playing a technique that is consistent for him. The safety can now, with the corner, read off of 3 or any of these. We read off of 3. Basically, if any of these guys remove themselves from the vertical theory, it can become almost a cover 4 type deal where if 3 is not vertical, the corner can lean back to the outside quarter and I can lean back to the inside quarter. Okay? If 3 is vertical, the corner is going to have to be ready to the midpoint. So if 3 is working his way vertical and that eats up the safety, now the corner is going to have to midpoint 1 and 2 if they're both vertical. We need the nickel to try and knock 2 down, or at least reroute 2 and make him get sent out towards the corner that has the midpoint, right? So we can still play that theory if we need to, and we can leave a safety on the backside. So all of our coverage principles are still in play for us to build in the answers back here if we need to answer somebody that's really giving us fits over here on that side. All right, so we never ignore that part. But the base way of us doing it by borrowing on the back side, all right, so if we go back to like the max theory, the base way of us doing it by borrowing on the back side, we know that we have got to be able to handle some of these things in man-to-man scenarios if we're going to use the jack, right? By playing this way, I think it suits his personnel type, his body type, the things he does well, and it really suits the things that he does well. So we're going to do the things that we do well first, okay? And then we're going to have our answers built in to the things that are giving us a little bit of an issue, all right? The next deal that we'll always have in is the ability to play drop 8 3 deep, all right? So if we felt like the way we're doing things isn't helping us, all right, we could always cloud the corner, roll the safety, bail the corner, play the jack in the flat, and now we get back to a traditional drop 8 3-man rush team. That's the way we played defense the last 2 years, all right? And we still have the ability to play a 3 cloud. We still have the ability to strong side rotate and play some type of 3 buzz. So those answers are all going to be there, all right? So it's not like I'm saying we're giving up everything we've done and we're going to have to live in a man-to-man world. What I'm saying is we're playing schemes that I think fit our kids really, really well. The other thing we're doing is we're keeping the pictures so consistent that now I think from a practice standpoint, so last year for us, we played tight front, we played some mint front, we played some over front, and one of the things that was happening to us is when it came down to practice, I always had to have cards drawn to every front because each front was going to be blocked different. So when I was preparing for practice, we always had to be ready how we fit it out of tight, how we fit it out of mint, how we fit it out of 4 down, right? So I had to have cards ready for how they block it, and that's part of the defensive coordinator's job. I'm not bitching about that. I'm just saying in order for you to prepare, you have to have everything prepared for the fronts you're going to play. Well, then we had to talk to our kids about our fits in 4 down, and you know, we just had a lot of moving pieces with a lot of returning players that we felt like we could do that with, right? Well, now this year, if we say, okay, look, the box is going to stay consistent, all right? So now if we got a 2x2 set, if the nickel declares that as passing strength, and you guys say go ahead and play palms, if the jack has 2 to his side, he's going to be part of coverage, so now these guys are going to play quarters. So now on this side, we're going to look like the old-fashioned, you know, tight 4 or tight quarters teams, right? Like you'll see some videos, there's some videos on YouTube with Ron Roberts talking about tight quarters, and then you go back to the old Wisconsin stuff with their tight 4 install, and we really end up becoming a team that looks like that to where all of our split field quarters concepts are still in play, right? Where palms over here, this box stays the same so they can fit runs consistently, and now we're playing quarters over here and we're building a rule in for the jack to say, look, if you get 2, you're part of the coverage, let's go. Right? Are we going to build in some answers where maybe if the jack's in coverage, we're going to add one of the inside backers down the road? You can do that right now. We're not going to have any of those in. Okay? But now what it's going to do is we're going to be able to have this picture of how we play things, especially in here, right? So that now when we get ready to practice, we can draw up all these formations, all right, and all these different formations, and we could say, hey, look, let's go ahead and get ready to fit. All right, and let's get ready to fit power, and let's get ready to fit counter, and let's get ready to fit zone and split zone, all right, and all the things that we think we need to fit. And let's just rep it over and over again because the picture in the box is going to be as consistent as possible. So I think it's going to help us with our practice plans. I think it's going to help us get more reps that right now are going to allow us, our players, okay, to do things a little bit more consistently so that once we feel good about what we're doing, then we can branch out and build our answers in. The other thing is maximizing your talent. I think this is going to help us maximize our coaching staff, which is a big thing. Okay? I think it's really going to help us because now instead of them having to learn every nuance and adjustment of the 3 high package, I can give them a basic standard rule of, hey guys, here's how we play, here's what we do, here's the answers that we have. So I think it's going to maximize our coaching staff, all right, and I think it's going to add a ton of value to our JV. Okay, now I think our JV, all right, is going to have a base system that they can play, and it's going to help us evaluate our younger players at a much earlier level. So I'm already trying to find at the JV level who fits that nickel spot, who fits that jack spot, okay, who fits these high safety spots. So I'm going to evaluate and find those guys right now, and I'm going to say, all right, I know the job I'm asking him to do, who can do that? I know the job I'm asking him to do, who can do that? So when I say maximize your talent, okay, I'm talking about maximize your players' talent, maximize your coaching staff talent, add value to your JV, and along the lines of maximize your talent, okay, maximize your practice. So I was telling our players, and we had a message for our kids this week. I had an epiphany the other day on the putting green. I was standing on the putting green during, again, last week we were off, right? I was finishing up my, the couple weeks. I played in a few member guests a couple weeks ago. I was grinding it out on the golf course, practicing a bunch, doing the things that are enjoyable to me when I'm not doing football, and that's playing golf. So I was standing on the putting green for 2 hours, but I was using different alignment aids. So I was using the arrow or the line on the ball or a triple track on a ball, and I was putting that way. Then I wasn't using that, and I was just aligning to a spot with the putter face. And then I was conventional grip, and then I was left hand low. And I started thinking about it. I was practicing for 2 hours, but after I practiced all those different things, I really didn't practice one thing over and over again until I got better or mastered it. I just practiced a bunch of different things. And I thought to myself, right now with our talent on defense, that's kind of what we're doing to our kids. We're asking them to do different things, and we never really hone in on the things we need to do to get really good at this, because I'm always trying to build in the next answer and the next piece. Well, we're kind of reloading a little bit on defense. We lost a bunch of seniors that played for us. We moved some corners to safety, new corners. All right, we moved a nickel back to a spot. A jack linebacker was a tailback. So I had to kind of rewind a little bit and say, you know what? The same thing that happened to me on the putting green, I'm actually doing with our players. How can I ask them to get better and perfect their craft if I keep changing the tools they need to get their job done? All right, so then our message this week, our coach was talking to our players today about, the 10,000 hour rule, and how long it takes to get really good at something, and the amount of time that you got to put in, all right, and deliberate practice in something. Don't just check the box, be very deliberate about what you're working on. So then I started thinking about it from a football sense. I said, you know what, that's exactly what we need right now. We need a system that is going to maximize our talent, maximize our coaching staff, maximize our practice plan, add value to our JV, and if that means that I have to change how I think about things, then so be it. Right? I'm the one that's in control. I need to be able to make those changes. As coaches, that's on us. Right? So we did a YouTube Live last night before I got hit with thunderstorms, and I had one of our subscribers from Brazil come on and said, Coach, we're in the championship game of our program, July 27th. We're playing all your 3 high stuff. Thank you so much. I love it. And my response to him was, hey, good luck in that game. Go out and win a title. I'm so glad, but hey, we can't play 3 high this year. So for me to force feed 3 high or what I do into a group that it doesn't work with, to me, that's not what coaching is. So I can make those changes, and I can understand what we need to do. I just have to stick to my guns and not be the tinkerer that I like to be, and not be the answer guy that I like to be. I need to stick to my guns and go, this is what we're teaching. These are the kids that I need to maximize their skill set, all right? And these are the answers that we have if we need them. All right, so it's funny sometimes where things come to you in the coaching world. This was an epiphany I had on the putting green. It wasn't even football. I was on the putting green, and after 2 hours, I said, you know what? I just did the same thing to myself that I do to our players sometimes. So, hey, you're going to play palms, and these are the rules in palms, and then as soon as we get this, though, I need you to play this, or we're going to play 3x1 in stubby, but we're also going to play it this way, that way, and then we end up with so much with new players that they never master anything. So it's funny where, your ideas or your, the theories in your head, where they come from, because to me it's always football. But mine came from the golf course. And I started thinking, I told my head coach, I said, I did this the other day on a putting green, and I think it's exactly what we're doing to some of our players right now. We're not giving them a chance to master the techniques they need to be aggressive, physical, play fast, because we're asking them to do things that other players that have been here for 2 years had done. We need to change our system to fit them. Okay, so when it comes time to change your system, don't ever be afraid to make it fit. All right, I've done videos before, making the scheme fit the players. It's on us to change. I have no problem changing. Again, guy, sends me a message from Brazil. We're in the championship game playing 3 high. Thank you so much, Coach. Hey, Coach, I love it. God bless you. Win a championship, but I can't play 3 high this year. So I can't stick to something just because it's what I know. I have to go back and be able to plug pieces in to fit our players. That's our job as coaches. That's what we do. That's what makes this game All right, so much fun. And it's kind of going to breathe some new life because now I've got to do, it's almost like a fresh start. We're still split field. We're still quarters based on our toolbox. We're still tight front in theory. So it's not a complete revolutionary change or a 360 degree or 180, 180 degree change for us. It's a change, which is fresh. I've got to make all the pieces, not take the piss. I've got to make pieces fit so that we can play good defense with the players we have, and so that it fits the way people are attacking us. I did a video or a short last week where I talked about a lot of 12, a lot of 13, a lot of things that we're getting after, 3 high safety structures, and that's the way football is right now. So nickel defense becoming more of the base. Now offenses are trying to find ways to attack that personnel, get that nickel group on there, and have their 12, 13 deals. So that's the way football is. That's why we love it. But again, maximize your talent. Don't be afraid to change some schemes if you need to, but also don't be afraid to dial some things in so that that 10,000 hour rule comes into effect. Be very deliberate at what you're practicing, very deliberate in what you're asking your kids to do so that they can do it to the best of their ability. Appreciate everything you guys do for PlayFest. Appreciate you guys following along, being along for the ride the last 10 years. We are still doing some phenomenal things. Numbers are going up. Subscribers every month. Views are still up. Watch time hours is still up. So thank you for everything you guys do. 4th of July, once that ends for a football coach, you know that we're now in a full-time grind. We start July 29th practicing, have a game August 16th, so we're getting back into it full-time. It's good to be with you all again. It's good to start doing these videos again, and as I go through the evolution of what we're doing on defense, I will keep you guys updated, informed, and let you know what we're doing well, what we're not doing well, and videos will be rolling out on a more frequent basis now that we are back at it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for everything you do for PlayFest. Remember, hit that subscribe button. All right, if you're not a subscriber, make sure you turn the notifications on so you know every time we do a video, or when I do YouTube Live like last night, you'll get that notification. Thumbs up, thumbs down if you like this or don't like it. Again, all right, it's your opinion. You have the ability to like and dislike whatever you want. I put the video out there. I'm just glad you watched. Leave a comment. I respond to every comment that I see on my end, whether it's positive, negative, you agree, you don't agree. It's your right to say what you want to say. I have to understand that as a content creator, I gave you that option. I put the content out there. So subscribe, notifications, like it, don't like it, comment, all the good stuff, guys. Appreciate everything you do. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. I'll see every one of you next time.